Can people truly share thoughts, emotions, or even the same dream? From Eleven and Max's shared visions to psychic connections across dimensions, Stranger Things makes us wonder, are human minds more deeply linked than we realize? Across cultures, stories of telepathic twins, collective dreaming, and psychic bonds have persisted for centuries. In this Stranger Things inspired episode, we'll use the cards to explore whether these connections are real, and if so, how they work. Let's see what insights the cards bring to light. Hello everyone, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time on my channel. So we're going to hop right into Stranger Things inspired episode 9 with question 1. Do psychic bonds between people truly exist? So we're going to start with Oracle and then move into Tarot for more information. Do psychic bonds between people truly exist? Refocus. That's kind of tough. Let's see. We're going to pull another one. Get a little more on that one because that one's very vague. And if you caught the meaning to that right away, put it in the comments below. Let me know. Dragonfly. Do psychic bonds between people truly exist? I'm going to pull another one because it's rolling in my head here, but If you're hearing some strange noises in the background, it is my Chihuahua who has decided to try and bury himself under the blanket in his bed, and he growls and carries on when he does that. The Princess Bride. One more. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. All right, so with refocus, I'm going to say this is different. It isn't like an ordinary way of thinking, at least not right now. It is something that takes a little bit of concentration, a little bit of refocusing, making sure that you're not thinking about only the things that you need to do on your shopping list kind of thing. And I think that it's easily done if you refocus in this way. I think it's easily done with people who have passed on, loved ones who have passed on. And I think it's easy for them to do it to us, to be able to have that psychic bond with us. They kind of have the bigger picture now than we do. You can do it with people that you are very close to, especially. And if you remember in The Princess Bride, they weren't together, but it was true love. They definitely had true love. And to some people, it's going to seem like something that they need to keep a secret. If they have this kind of connection, people might not understand. And they feel like they need to keep it a secret. So let's go further. Take the money and run. 2012. And forgiveness. Yeah, part of this secret, especially if you find yourself really talented at it, part of this keeping things secret is because there are those who would exploit what is possible. Definitely would exploit what is possible, would take the money and run. They would want to know, like with 2012, they would want to know everything that you could tell them about the future. They would want to know, well, I guess I should backtrack on this. If they know that you're able to have a psychic bond with other people, they're going to find out or test you to find out what more you can possibly do. So if you have other talents, they're going to find it and, hope that you can give them warning about the future. And truly, there wouldn't be any forgiveness, any saying sorry, if that's what ended up happening. So yes, people do have psychic bonds. They do truly exist. Working probably best with those who have passed on. But it's not impossible to also have it with people you are very close to that are still alive. If you're very talented at it, it's a warning here, try to keep it under wraps, because it isn't always something that's good to have out there, because, well, we know those privileged ones tend to want to take advantage of everything and everyone. So we're going to see what tarot has to say. We have the World. You can reach that point, and as you can see, they're holding hands here. You can reach that point with a little bit of refocusing. You could have a psychic bond with anyone in the world. Anyone. Justice. And it is only fair that those in spirit, because they have a bigger picture of things and they have more capabilities, they have more memories of what's possible, that they can reach us easier than we can reach them. At least we can talk to them, they can hear us, but it isn't really like that the other way around in most cases. Princess Bride, we have 6 of dice or 6 of swords. That is mind communication. That is the perfect harmony between minds with people that you are very close to. 8 of Spokes or 8 of Cups. Yeah, with the Chamber of Secrets, it's best to just walk away and just pretend like everything is normal, absolutely normal. You can still do it, just don't tell anybody. Knight of Spokes or Knight of Cups. These people, these privileged, they would be very actively pursuing your psychic ability. If they knew, if it wasn't kept a secret. 9 of Strands or 9 of Wands. They would have you backed in a corner. They would have you exhausted, testing you for everything that you are possibly able to give. Page of Strands or Page of Wands. Yeah, this is almost like a message to your imagination. Keep it quiet. All right, so let us move on to question 2. Again, if you hear strange noises in the background, it is a Chihuahua, my Chihuahua, and he is pretty much in every video that I've done for this channel, snoring away. That's his contribution and his, I guess you could say, his protest that I'm spending my time doing this and not spending my time with him every second. So, just so you're aware. He's a busy, sleepy boy. All right, so question 2. What causes or strengthens these connections, these psychic connections between people? What causes or strengthens these connections? Love. Clear as can be. The unshakable force. The energy between two people. The love energy between two people. Or two or more. I would assume anyone can join in the psychic bond. Victim. I'm thinking this is adding, because it's saying what causes or strengthens these connections. I feel like someone who is a victim, someone who is abducted perhaps, maybe can send some pretty powerful psychic messages to people that they know, people they love, people that they want to rescue them. Whether or not that person is open enough to get it, a lot of times grief, when somebody is grieving, and if somebody is missing or has been abducted or something like that, the grief that people feel blocks everything. So if a victim is trying to send this kind of psychic message, the person they're sending to may be too close to the situation and may not be able to hear it. There's 2012 again. Again, situations involving mortality can create a deeper connection for this kind of psychic bond. That would be kind of like if somebody is, I don't know, let's say in a tornado and they can't be found. The person who is looking for them may be sending, tell us where you are, tell us where you are, tell us where you are. If the person is capable and isn't like knocked out or anything like that, they may very well be able to hear it, meaning mentally, and respond. The postman. Again, another apocalyptic scenario. So they're just pretty much saying bad things that happen to people. The connection, the psychic connection, can be strengthened or created due to love and trauma. Me and You and a Dog Named Boo. The Twilight Zone. And Forbidden Planet. Me and You and a Dog Named Boo. That is one of the cards I used for spirit guides, a spirit team. And your spirit team can also help you strengthen this bond, especially in scenarios like this. They may go to, this victim's spirit guide and say, or this victim's spirit guide may go to the guides of someone they're trying to reach, and see if they can get that going. Now, it all might seem very unreal. A person may get a message in their mind and be like, okay, I heard that, but geez, did I hear that? I'm just making it up. I'm sure I am. There's all kinds of strange things that go on in the mind when things that are going through your mind or coming into your mind, especially if you're not prepared for them. You may not believe it and may just push it off as nothing. For some people, it is, with the Forbidden Planet, something that they have been told by the church, for instance, that it's a bad thing, allegedly. They might have been raised to believe that anything like that is witchcraft, allegedly. But at some point, something told them that this was forbidden. So in this case, it would be very difficult to strengthen that bond because that fear is always going to be there. And let's just hope that, you know, the person who is in this position doesn't have family that's like this. All right, so let's check tarot and see what more it has to say. All right. These are really thick cards. So the Sun. Yeah, this is love and happiness for sure. That brings the clarity, can open up the mind to a psychic bond. 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is normally a legacy card. And in this case, where it talks about somebody perhaps being abducted or something happening to someone caused by someone else, their legacy to you may be opening up that psychic bond. 10 of Strands or 10 of Wands. Yeah, the complete communication that can come from apocalyptic events. If you see Joy Sun here, she is writing letters underneath each of these lights because she believes her son Will can communicate with her in this way. So this is like a psychic bond, and it may start like this and continue on eventually using the mind and only the mind and not needing other tools to do this. And then we have Knight of Scoops or Knight of Pentacles with the Postman. Actively practicing, actively pushing the psychic, the telepathy, pushing it forward to somebody else. Even if you're all alone, pushing it out there to somebody, being active with it. And then the 3 of Strands or 3 of Wands. This is having the or allowing your guides to help you push it out there, help you plan and get it out there where it needs to go. These thoughts, these psychic connections, they're maybe the ones that are, you know, telling you use your imagination first, grow it, grow your imagination, because your imagination is actually the catalyst to every psychic connection, because your imagination is what allows you to believe in things that you wouldn't ordinarily believe in. And we have the World, with all the things that go on in the world on a regular basis, many of which we do not hear, but we all have access to incredible stories of things you could never even imagine all over the world. This is no different. What you're hearing, what vision is maybe coming into your mind, being sent from someone else, believe in it. These thoughts don't just come out of nowhere. 8 of Dice or 8 of Swords. Yes, this is being forbidden to believe in or use what is actually, I believe, normal to all humans. Really, it's like having a lock on your mind. Somebody putting a lock on your mind and throwing away the key. So for those people who, you know, think that that any kind of psychic anything is a bad thing, it could save your life. It could connect you up with a past loved one. It could, you know, but you have to believe too, I think. And even if you don't believe, I think it would work. But you gotta believe what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're receiving. Okay, so let us get picked up here and move on to question 3. Alrighty. Are shared dreams real or symbolic projections? Are shared dreams real or symbolic projections? The pursuit of happiness. I think they're real. Pursuing happiness is real. But then again, maybe they're symbolic projections because we can't see happiness, can we? Let's see if it goes further. There's the refocus again. I think they can be what you want them to be. But again, refocusing is a necessity. Dreams are mostly made up of symbols for all of us. A dream about a chair. You're not really dreaming about a chair in most cases. Bridge to Terabithia. The chair is going to mean something else to you completely, which is why dream dictionaries that you do not put together yourself, if somebody out there is selling a dream dictionary, that is a very general thing. So a chair to somebody may be totally different to somebody else. So a chair is for sitting in for one person. A chair is for resting another person's back. A chair is for lazy people. There's a lot of different connotations to a chair. So whatever yours is, that's how it's going to show up to you in your dream symbolically. Okay? So if you are sending, let's say telepathically, sending a dream, and you have a chair in that dream, if it's a symbolic projection, the other person is going to understand that chair for how they understand that chair. So you might be trying to project, I need to sit down. And that person might be getting from the chair in their dream is that, man, do you have to be this lazy? I'm not being mean. I'm just giving an example here. So you have to, I'm going to say that the shared dreams are real, and they're not necessarily symbolic projections. Imagination is part of this. So refocusing and using your imagination is a huge part of this sharing dreams. The two kids in here, they used their imagination and it created itself pretty much. Over the top. Yeah, some dreams can definitely get out of hand, go over the top, for sure. Aaron Brockovich, Rain of Fire, and Murder on the Orient Express. If you know the person really, really well, and you know their character, you know what they believe in, you know what creates their strengths, you know their weaknesses, then shared dreams are going to have the effect they're meant to have. If not, they may come through as symbolic projections, and then things excuse me, and then things are not good between two people. As a for instance, if a husband and wife, okay, are sleeping, and the husband or the wife is having a dream about another person, and they are having a dream that they are together with that other person, and somehow, because of maybe their closeness or whatever, the husband is getting this dream as well, having the same dream, and seeing his or her spouse with this other person. Okay, the one having the dream, it's an innocent dream. They're not really purposely trying to share it. It's an innocent dream. The person who's getting that shared dream wakes up in the morning and is so angry over the dream that they just had. And somehow they instinctively know that it wasn't theirs, that it belonged to their other half. And then, you know, it's very possible that that is the end of their relationship, because that person just can't get past the anger. So let's see what tarot has to add here. All right, so we have the Two of Cups. Two people connecting up in a most amazing way. Page of Dice or Page of Swords. Yes, it's a whole new way to communicate with one another. It has to be something that both are striving for, and refocus is needed. Justice with Bridge to Terabithia. Anything is fair in the imagination. Whatever comes through, it's fair, because you can't very well take away a person's imagination. They can't stop what comes forth. The Hierophant. It takes some training so that things don't go over the top in that way. So working with one another, maybe working with someone else who is accustomed to dream sharing. They could be a mentor. Seven of Scoops or Seven of Pentacles. To keep somebody, I mean, knowing someone well enough is going to keep you from going on the defensive, or them as well, as long as they know you too. No need to be defensive if you know that person so well that you know what's coming through in the dream is not like the chair scenario. They're going to understand that the chair in that dream means you need to sit down, not that you're lazy. They know you better than that. Eight of Dice, Eight of Swords. Yes, it can also keep two people from feeling as though they're misunderstood, they're trapped in a situation, their communication is just not as it should be. They're feeling as though they can't get their point across, and it's not even their fault. The other person gets angry. But in this case, again, knowing the person that you're dream sharing with makes a huge difference. This probably would never happen. And then we have Page of Scoops or Page of Pentacles. Yeah, this is a life message. This means that the two people don't go their separate ways. One does not hurt the other by not understanding. This is a message about life. It is a message about, I don't know, you could stick with messages about work and health and things like that, at least for a practice point, until you get to know. That way, these two things that weren't good in the dream sharing situation would not take place. So yes, dream sharing is definitely possible, and it isn't necessarily symbolic projection. It can be if you're on practice mode, but if you get to know the person that you want to dream share with, then the symbolic projections are going to be understood. Okay, so let's get picked up here and see what question 4 has to share. And if you're liking my content, please feel free to like and subscribe. Maybe share with somebody else that you know is interested in the same things that you are. And even comment. I mean, take the time to comment if you see something in the cards that I missed, or you feel you have something that you can add. Please feel free to do that. I'd love to read the comments. Okay, so question 4. Can group consciousness influence the physical world? Can group consciousness influence the physical world? Oh, it does not want me to shuffle. Okay. I'll stop. Man in the Moon. I'm going to say the answer is yes. Group consciousness can influence the physical world. I don't know of, I mean, this has been around for a long time, the man in the moon. Children believe that there's a man in the moon, a lot of children. You look up and you can see a face in the moon, and it brings back, you know, any stories that you had with there being a man in the moon. So I'm going to say that yes, group consciousness can influence the physical world. Cool change. There is a possibility to change a lot of things in the physical world when everyone is believing in the same thing. I think it makes the manifestation much, much stronger. So if everybody thought everyone is healed, the earth has healed everyone, no one is sick any longer, and we kept believing that, it might be a slow change, but it would happen. The streak. It would break barriers. And after a while, I think it would probably be, the manifestation would be even faster. And would eventually get to streak speed. Okay. Demolition Man. Yeah, I think there's always those people out there who would like to say, none of this is possible. Just because 10 people believe this does not mean they can change the world. There's always those who are contrary to ideas like that. And it might be government related, allegedly, because we become powerful in a way that we're not supposed to become powerful, allegedly, if we can do things like this, and we know we can. Yes, they would like to stop it. I mean, they want to put a kibosh to anything that might give us any kind of power. So heads will roll. Spirit in the Sky, and I dreamed of Africa. So this comes down to, our own personal belief. We don't have to believe what they say is factual. We don't have to necessarily believe in the man on the moon, but that's a great place to start, right? It's a great place to realize that we have an imagination and that we maybe can create something that nobody else knows we can create. So this is the personal belief. She dreamed of Africa in this movie. Wanted so badly to go to Africa. She manifested it. Was it a group thing? No, not necessarily. But if one person can create something like that for themselves, why couldn't we all, with the same practice, with the same thought, and manifest what we want for the world? All right, let's see what Tarot has to add. Okay, we have 8 of Dice. Yeah, there's those people who think, that our minds are a little off if we believe in the man in the moon. And, if you think about it, there's a big conspiracy about the first moon landing. Put that in the place of man in the moon, okay? If you believe that people landed, that we actually reached the moon, well, you would be following these guys and but if you are one who believes it was done in a studio, then this is what people think of you, that you're just a nut job. 10 of Swords or 10 of Dice. The change can be made when the manifestation that you put in your mind, or the idea that you put in your mind, becomes complete. The Star with the streak. The hope is to break the barrier, right? Anything's possible amongst the stars. We're back to the man in the moon. Anything's possible. The Empress. Yes, our government is very creative, allegedly. Very creative. And if we don't do or don't believe or whatever, you see what she looks like right now? Yep. That's how they change the minds of people. 3 of Dice or 3 of Swords with Sleepy Hollow. Heads will roll. Well, they put into your mind what they want you to believe, so that group consciousness doesn't influence the world. We can transform that, though, with our personal beliefs. And yes, we can then manifest what we want in the world. Oh, that went a whole new way. Whole new way. All right, so let us get this picked up and we'll move on to question 5. There are 6 questions in this Stranger Things Inspired episode 9. Okay. All right. Question 5. How does trauma or love deepen psychic links? Now, we did have some information about love, specifically with strengthening and the causes. So how is being asked, does trauma or love deepen psychic links in this one? Bird box teaches us to trust ourselves and trust others. If we can't see, as a for instance, if we've gone blind, like in Bird Box, they have blindfolds on. If they've gone blind and there's no way that they can see, they have to trust something or someone, okay? So, for instance, in the case of someone who's blind, they might have a dog that guides them wherever they go. They have to trust that dog. That dog and that person have a very distinctive connection. In the movie Bird Box, it was the birds she had in the shoebox. So let's see. Roger Rabbit. Understanding that things are not always as they seem. If somebody tells you, I was a human in a cartoon character, everyone around me was a cartoon character. If you love that person, you're going to understand that what they're showing you is what they actually did see. Love is what helps you believe. There's that Princess Bride again. That's about true love. When you know someone so well, and again, it's how does trauma or love deepen psychic links? When you know someone so well, when you love them, and you've taken the time to learn who they are, you can't help but finish one another's sentences. And the psychic links, even though that seems very simplistic, it is part of the psychic link. When someone has an accident and say they're in a coma, at least for a little while, and someone they love dreams about them and dreams about them saying, this is what I need. That is a psychic link. Man on Fire. It's a hot topic. It is a very hot topic. It can save people's lives. Guidance. Bicentennial Man. And signs. We always have guidance from our spirit team. We always have guidance. And when things like this happen and we're not sure of what we're hearing or seeing or how to put a message across if we're the ones in trouble, we have guidance. We can ask our spirit team to give us a helping hand. Many people now will go, they spend their time with AI, thinking that AI has all the answers. That does nothing to deepen the psychic links between people. It's a distraction. There are obviously limits with the psychic links, at least for a while, at least until the trust is formed and the love is unmistakable. So let's see what Tarot has to add. All right. We have death or transformation. When there is something suddenly missing, such as eyesight, transformation has to take place. Other senses come in and other people become very important in the as eyes. Other animals do as well. 5 of spokes or 5 of cups. This can be an emotional chaos when a person is trying to project something. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I was a human in a cartoon. I really was. I was taken and I became a human in a cartoon. That may be what they're trying to send as a picture. And the person who's receiving might be receiving it, but it's too chaotic for the mind. The mind cannot comprehend a human being a part of a cartoon, not for real. So that could cause a little bit of trouble. 7 of scoops or 7 of pentacles. The true love seed, when it's planted, anything that, I mean, it's love, it's patience, it's going to deepen a psychic link. It just takes time. And this is trauma. So 6 of strands or 6 of wands. This needs to be recognized as something that is valuable. Something that, like I said, can save people's lives. As we saw before, for instance, with victim over here that's trying to send a message to somebody that they love, that they know knows them, and they're doing the best that they can to send that message. We can hope that they know each other well enough that they recognize where that message is coming from, and hope that other people realize how important it is to listen to that message and not tell the person, oh, the person says, oh, I got a message from them in my mind and they're here, and having the police or whoever say, oh, good Lord, who are you? And not believe any of it. Knight of scoops or Knight of pentacles. Yes, this is your spirit team is there to guide you and keep you actively working at this psychic link, this psychic connection, helping you to recognize how important it actually is. 10 of spokes or 10 of cups. If we can be sidetracked by AI, our emotions are done. What's the point of having emotions if we've got somebody that is emotionless talking to us all the time? I think eventually we would lose our emotions, and emotions are a huge part of things because emotions are what love is, right? Emotions, pain, that kind of thing, that's all a part of trauma. And 6 of scoops or 6 of pentacles. Eventually, when things are strong enough, when love is strong enough, when the traumatic experience is strong enough and the connection between two people or an animal and a person is strong enough, it'll be a give and take, a very easy give and take from that point on. All you have to do is look for the signs and you'll know where that psychic message comes from. So let us pick up these cards and move on to the last question, question number 6. It's kind of a tough topic, and the questions are a little, in this episode, are a little, I'm going to say, incomplete in my mind. But starts a person thinking for sure. And that's kind of what these inspired series are about, kind of like what if scenario type things. All right, so question 6, what does this reveal about the nature of consciousness itself? What does this reveal about the nature of consciousness itself? And my chihuahua is really snoring. 1. Starts with one person. Can't pick it up. Starts with one person, and that one person, the thought comes from them. Begins with one thought. That thought has a way of getting skewed or sometimes replaced before it ever gets out there to someone else. That can happen due to beliefs. It can happen due to just distraction. It can happen many different ways that it never ever actually gets away from the person. Elvis. It can also become the most important thing for a person to focus on. This singular person to focus on. Sixth sense. When it gets to this strong point of being the main thing to be focused on, then the sending can begin. The Last Samurai, The Prize, The Towering Inferno. This is where the person that you're sending to is the one that knows you better than anyone else, who would be willing to put their life on the line for you, to fight for whatever you believe, whatever you need fought for. That person would be the one that would bring it forth, would believe everything that you have to say, and would receive whatever you're sending. Sometimes it works and you're awarded a prize for when this person comes and says, "Oh, I got your message." Okay? And sometimes it goes up in smoke. Doesn't happen. But again, we talked about needing to practice. So the nature of consciousness has to do with beginning with a thought. Deciding whether that thought is really worth thinking or spreading. And if so, making it first and foremost. Then attempting to send it to someone you trust. Let's see what Tarot has to share with this. We have the Hanged Man. So this is surrendering to the thought. Seven of Scoops or Seven of Pentacles. Deciding whether or not planting the seed, that particular seed is worth it or not. If you do plant the seed, it's a matter of being patient, seeing how important it becomes. The Lovers, yeah, it's a choice. It's certainly a choice whether you decide to have that particular thought be the one that you push out there. The Chariot, pushing it out there with oomph. You need something powerful to really get it out there. You need a vehicle of some sort that can really push it out there. In this case, it is your psychic ability. It is your emotion that's pushing. It's the catalyst. Knight of Strands. Sending it out to the person that you know has the active imagination that you have, and that is willing to give this a try. And we have the Four of Spokes, or the Four of Cups. There might be a lot of things coming into this person. They're going to choose yours. They're going to do it. And the Five of Strands, yeah, sometimes it just goes up in smoke. And you realize that this one was just a practice. So in essence, what does this reveal about the nature of consciousness? It's very fickle. It's difficult to work with. However, there are specifics that can make it work for you. Specifics that can help change this physical world. So that is it for this Stranger Things inspired episode 9. Let me give you the teaser for episode 10. We've explored psychic bonds and shared dreams. Now it's time to uncover the darkest secrets of the Montauk facility. Mind control, time travel, and interdimensional gateways. Could the truth be stranger than fiction? Join me next episode as the cards reveal what really went on behind closed doors. So that's the teaser for episode 10. On the screen also, you see the schedule for the shows that I do. I do 3 shows each week. If you're enjoying Stranger Things, you might also enjoy the other 2. So take a look at those if you're so inclined. And with all that said, thank you so much for being with me through this episode. I do hope that you've made it to the end. I hope also that you'll join me for episode 10 next week. It is the last episode of the Stranger Things series. Then we're moving on to something else. And you'll find out in episode 10, at the end of episode 10, what show we're moving into. So I hope to see you there. Until next week, take care.